There are plenty of offline games that have great graphics and let you play even when you have no internet connection. Here you'll find those offline games that have graphics that are far above the average for mobile games and over-pleasing eye effects on top of that. And of course, they aren't just eye candy, they also offer immersive environments and engaging gameplay. Excited to see what's coming next? Then let's get right to them. Starting off at number 10, we have Next Gen Truck Simulator. This is a cargo delivery simulator in which you have to overcome the challenges of all elements that the game offers. Unlike many other driving games, this one is aimed directly at experienced drivers who aren't afraid of difficult challenges, and not only driving on beautiful 3D roads, completing assigned tasks, in the long run you also take on the role of business operations manager of your own car company. At this time, in addition to directly driving good cars to increase income for the car company, you're also responsible for exploiting, selling resources, and making decisions about whether to receive the shipment and take which items. And a tip for you is that you should choose to ship items of high value to get big bonuses. Moving on to number 9, we have Alien Isolation. This is exactly what you just heard from the plot. It's an action horror game with a lot of scary alien elements. All battles between the main character and the terrifying monsters that gradually appear take place in the first person. And not only fighting, but you also try to survive every second with an annoyingly harsh survival system. You'll constantly have to move, explore, perform a series of large and small tasks to go from one secret curtain to another secret lair. Only in the end can you unveil the greatest truth that embraces both the past and the future. If you've ever watched the Prometheus movie series and freaked out when the first alien appeared, now when playing the game, directly facing them, the scare is more than doubled. Coming in at number 8, we have Burning Dead. Burning Dead is a first-person action game where you play as Mike, a survivor of the zombie apocalypse, who has just one objective: to rescue his daughter who was taken from him before everything hit the fan. The problem is that your adventure begins deep in the mountains, and the only way to get out of there is by avoiding waves of zombies. The levels last just a minute or two, but unlike many other action games for Android, they're pretty difficult. It's hard to get to the end of the level without at least one of the zombies sinking its teeth into your skin. Luckily, throughout the level, you can find hidden objects like first aid kits, firearms, and extra ammunition. Next up at number 7, we have Where's Samantha? This is a platform game where you help a piece of cloth named George on his journey to find Samantha. Travel through the various levels, overcoming countless obstacles on your way to find your other half. Without a doubt, the graphics in Where's Samantha are positively delightful. Both the settings and the characters are depicted in 3D, so it's easy to identify all the elements at play. In fact, the graphics are so detailed you can even appreciate the textures of the cloth. The controls are very easy to manage, similar to other games in this genre, and it's important to keep in mind that both George and Samantha can take advantage of the kind of material they're made of too, which enables them to interact with certain surfaces in surprising ways. Down to number 6, we have Tower Hunter. Tower Hunter is an action game with a side view, high-quality graphics, and dynamic gameplay. The main character of the game is a girl named Ezra who has powerful combat skills and one interesting ability: rebirth after death in battle. She owes this opportunity to deal with the devil himself, and this will allow her to cope with traps and numerous opponents that she'll face on the levels of the tower. In addition, the heroine will be able to collect useful artifacts and create combo attacks for spectacular and bloody reprisals against opponents. The project will certainly appeal to everyone without exception, especially for fans of the Asian drawing style characters. Moving on to number 5, we have Moncage. Moncage is a unique game in its execution, which has filled up the world of puzzles, where you'll explore the surrounding numerous locations, trying to solve the mystery of this place. In front of you, there's a fairly large object in the form of a cube, each side of which is different from the other and is part of the overall picture. As for the storyline, it simply doesn't exist here. You're going to a factory that's been abandoned for a long time, which is located on the island, where you'll explore everything along and across, using this very cube. Carefully study the walls of the cube as it's there, and you'll be able to give answers to all your questions, as well as find out what the factory looks like in general. Next up at number 4, we have One Hand Clapping. This is a 2D platform decryption game with sound as the core. You need to rely on sound to solve puzzles and achieve your goals. The innovative gameplay of sound decryption and the gameplay, it's very interesting, and overall the play content for the experience of audio and video and the quality of this work can be said to be relatively excellent. First of all, in terms of sound effects, different scenes have different styles of music, the atmosphere is well formed, and the auditory experience is pretty good. The mechanism of the game relies on the player's voice, and a microphone and headphones are required to play. The difficulty isn't very high, and the error tolerance rate is fairly friendly. Coming in at number 3, we have Flip Range. Flip Range is similar to the classic game Swag Flip, where you do stunts in the air. Your objective to get to the highest score as possible and land on your feet, because if you don't, you'll crash into the ground without earning a single point. When you start playing Flip Range, there's only one scenario available, but in this single scenario, you can jump from plenty of various places. You can also jump with various poses, performing different stunts in the air. You can even unlock new tricks with the coins that you earn. You'll find 3 different scenarios, each one with various jumping points. You'll have total freedom when you jump, doing whatever you can to get the highest score for each one. Next up at number 2, we have World War II Reborn. This is an FPS that transports you to the middle of World War II, where you'll experience action-packed battles between the different sides involved in this historic conflict. Lead your soldier into battle, taking advantage of all the ammunition you have in order to shoot your enemies to the ground. The game includes an extensive map ready to be explored. Of course, before you start playing, you'll need to choose a side. After this step, you can select the weapons you want to use from the main menu. At the top of the screen, you can check the score. You can also see how much time is remaining for each round. And whichever side executes the most kills before the timer reaches 0 wins the battle. And finally, at number 1, we have Paco 3. Paco 3 is a driving game that takes place from a bird's eye view. As in this franchise's previous installments, you outrun the police by putting the pedal to the metal. Your objective is the same in almost every level. Evade the cops as long as you can, while collecting all the coins you find along the way. It has tons of levels, from some of which have special rules. In the first few levels, all you have to do is escape from the police by dodging the stakeouts, doing whatever it takes to stay behind the wheel as long as you can. The farther you make it, the more vehicles and levels you'll unlock. Occasionally, you'll also have the opportunity to compete in speed trials against other drivers.